were gone.
Sure. That's why everyone got us so homesick when we took that vacation in Italy.
Oh well, I felt so good today. We touched back down on an international runway. Jet propelled back home from overseas to the USA.
New York, Los Angeles, oh how I yearn for you. Detroit, Chicago, Chattanooga, Baton Rouge. How I long just to feel at home back in old St. Louis.
I'm so glad I'm living in the USA.
Yes, I'm so glad I'm living in the USA. Anything you want, we got it right here in the USA.
Well, we're so glad we're living in the USA.
Yes, we're so glad we're living in the USA. My country disappears
Sing along if you know the lyrics.
in the USA.
We're so glad. We're so glad.
It's like that.
We're so glad.
Come on, chat. Sing it.
We're so glad.
We're so glad.
Be the gladdest band in America if you come back to hear more songs. See you in a little while.
Every time I think about how beautiful our multi-ethnic country is, I'm reminded of the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic singing to me about being glad to live in the USA. It's scarred into my childhood memories. It's an indelible part of my memories of. It's a part of what made me. Those animatronics singing about loving the USA. I just remember it. I promised at the new year I was going to avoid politics. Now I'd move that aside for another day. So I figure this short stream that I'm doing completely off the cuff. I have no notes. I have nothing. The only thing I prepared for this stream was that song. But I wanted to remind everyone that I will now be streaming at a different time. I'll be streaming on Fridays and some Saturdays at noon European time or 6 p.m. Eastern time in the U.S. So I wanted to get that out so people who... It's very hard to try and herd everyone to the new times and stuff, because when I lost the channel the first time, a lot of people still haven't found it, which is pretty sad, but so I have to do better. I have to do better with that, and I have to do better with telling people to go to my website if they want to give me money. It's madattheinternet.com. That's the How You Give Josh Money website. Where's my banner? There it is. Somebody sent me a PM saying that they'd listened to all my streams and wanted to know how to give me money. And it's like, I'm pretty sure I've advertised this website, at least at some point. But I guess I don't do a good job, so there it is. I didn't start this stream just to shill my website, by the way. I know it seems like that. I wanted to mention... I just wanted to mention it because it was fresh in my memory and I'd forget if I didn't mention it. I just wanted to start the stream to tell everyone that their parents should have voted for Ron Paul in 2008 because you probably weren't old enough to vote in 2008. Definitely should have voted for Ron Paul in 2008. And because you did not vote for Ron Paul in 2008, the United States is now inexorably down the path of decline for all eternity. There's no recovering it. It's the U.S. is like a march now. It's just like a military state where the only way for the average person to have an acceptable quality of life is to either be born into certain families, which are privileged to a quality of life, or to join the military. Because you get like a free education and shit. You get everything for free if you join the military. The downside is you have to go to Iraq and get your legs blown off. Or to Iran and get your legs blown off. Or to Afghanistan and get your legs blown off. Or to Vietnam and get your legs blown off. You have to lose. That's basically it. Education costs you an arm and a leg. And you have to join the military in order to get those benefits. Otherwise you're just like cattle. You get your fucking student loan, you get your interest rate, and you're fucked. a very doom and gloom because I don't want to bomb Iran. I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy looking at this. I voted very specifically for Trump. There's lots of bullshit reasons I supported Trump, but the main reason was I wanted a wall and I wanted to not be involved in the Middle East. I thought, how great is this? Trump is saying, let's not be involved in the Middle East. I love that idea. That's a great idea. I want to not be in the Middle East. That's fantastic. There is no wall, and we are now bombing Iran. How is this a thing? How is this happening? Chat, I try to be optimistic. I stopped reading Poll entirely because it was too depressing for me. I was not emotionally prepared to handle that level of fucking, like, just miserable black pill nihilism every second of every post. But I don't know. Now that it's headlines, I can't avoid it. Same reason I voted for Obama too. Ooh. Yeah, that's true. I remember when Obama had just won, I remember he went to Egypt and started quoting the Quran to Egyptians. And I remember thinking, how great is it that we have a president who is of diverse background and can go to a foreign country and speak eloquently and even quote the Quran to the audience. That's fantastic. It didn't amount to shit. Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered, chat. Why did nothing matter? The only man who could have saved us was Ron Paul, and if he had become president, they probably would have just killed him. This used car salesman. We're not bombing Iran. Are you sure? If you're over 18 and couldn't dodge the draft. I know they do a certain thing. I know, whatever. Pallets of money matter. That's true. Trump even mentioned that. He mentioned the pallets of money that Obama gave Iran. Nothing matters. See, this is what I would advocate. And maybe I'm just a crazy person, whatever. Because I know many people have real jobs where they like do stuff with their hands, as opposed to me. The only thing I touch with my hand is my dick. But if you are in a technological area of expertise, and you have the capacity, get a wife or marry or whatever with a non-thought and leave the country. Go to some place that doesn't matter. Go to some place like the Netherlands or Estonia or Singapore or someplace like or Bolivia. Just go to some place where it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Nobody cares about you. Switzerland, someplace like that. And raise your kid there with your internet money and don't die. And then let the Americans die for you. Because you're protected under that umbrella. You don't have to care about anything. Burlap sack of bitch. Canary Islands. Yeah, Canary Islands. Beautiful. I've been to the Canary Islands. Those are beautiful. Snorkeling is I went on a cruise there with my mom when I was like a teenager. We went snorkeling in the Canary. That's perfect. Go to the Canary Islands. Nobody is bombing the Canary Islands. You know what I mean? Don't worry about the shit. I don't know. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because it's like, okay, they went over and they destroyed a embassy. The embassy is not a military target. That's kind of shitty. But we have military bases everywhere around Iran. Everywhere. It's like every 50 to 100 miles, we have a different military base on every border they have, except for Syria. And it's for what? Why do we care? Oh, I know why we care. I know why we care about the Middle East. But we shouldn't have to care, is my point. We shouldn't have to care about fucking Iraq or Afghanistan or Iran. They stormed the gate. Poland. See, the issue with Poland is that it's by Russia. That's my fear with Estonia as well. Poland and Estonia are both in NATO. Yeah, fuck it. Go to Poland. Poland's fine too. Because if anything happens, the Americans will come to save you. They'll send in the mutts. They'll parachute mutts into Russia and kill the Russians for you, and you don't have to do anything. The government can shift from Polish to Russian and back in a couple of years, and you won't even notice it because you'll be farming potatoes or something. You won't even notice the government change. Why do I care so much about saber rattling? Nothing's going to happen because it's not just okay. Trump is doing shit with Iran. Iran's doing shit with the U.S. We're doing this retarded foreign policy where we just sprinkle bases all over the fucking place and agitate the fuck out of countries. Like the only countries that I remember I saw an infographic that explained how the only countries that don't have banks owned by the Rothschilds are Iran, Russia, DPRK, and like Uruguay or something in South America. And it's like, that's why we're fucking with them. That's why we put these countries under sanctions and shit. It has nothing to do with nuclear weapons or invading Crimea. It has entirely to do with the fact that they won't let our banks into their country to fuck with them. That's it. That's the only reason. And it's just depressing because we give... It's so blatant to me, this how we give certain entities power over everything. Every element of our lives are controlled by fucking banks and shit. And we're going into foreign countries and inflicting our misgivings onto them. Like, Ukraine was nice, but it won't be nice for very long. It'll either be taken by Russia or it'll cozy up with the US, and the government will change such that whatever benefits there were to living in Ukraine will be completely eroded, and it will be just like living in a shitty version of the U.S. I have not been to Poland, but over time you see how the EU puts influence on Poland. God knows how that's going to change over time. It's like I leave the U.S. to not be in the U.S., but when I go to a restaurant here, I hear American music. My upstairs neighbor playing through these shitty fucking European-built apartment complexes, plays this fucking American pop music and this Turkish rap music that I fucking hear. It's like, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to have American culture when I'm not in the fucking United States. Why is every country a fucking satellite state of the United States with its language? Everyone speaks English to me. It's like, I don't want to fucking hear English. That's the best thing about living in Ukraine is nobody knows fucking English. You have to know a little bit of Russian to even get by. If you were up north, you'd have to know Ukrainian. You can't get by knowing English in Ukraine. But you can get by knowing English in every other country. Every country that's comfortably under the armpit of the United States because they own everything. And it's all the same. The more you travel, the more you realize how fucking samey everything is. You want something different, but it's not different. And all these countries do is they sit and they gloat about how great their healthcare system is to us. Well, you know why you have such a great healthcare system is because you're a part of NATO. You have no fucking military. You have no fucking Navy. You have no Air Force. And it's just the mutts dying for you. You don't even pay your fucking NATO dues. It'd be real easy to have a global healthcare system in the United States if we didn't have a fucking military. We could just give people bars of gold in their own military jet at this point. We have to defend every country on Earth. And in exchange, every country on Earth is basically just a shitty version of the United States. Everyone here looks down at the fucking ground. They wear black coats. They all look like they're about to hang themselves because they're so fucking depressed. Everyone who glorifies EU countries are retarded. It's so depressing. You travel and you just realize how everyone just wants today to be like yesterday, and they want tomorrow to be like today, and it sucks. It sucks. Gosh, bitches for an hour of the stream. Basically, this is how I really feel. At least the beer is good, right? That's what the European... We got free healthcare and we got beer. That's Evan. That's the life I want. It's I've been to 3 countries besides the United States. I've been to Belize. I've been to the Grand Cayman Islands. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Australia. I've been to Japan. I've been to the Philippines. I've lived in the Philippines. I've lived in Ukraine. I've been throughout the EU. Like, what do you mean I've only been to 3 countries outside the U.S.? It is literally all the fucking same. It is exactly the same. Though they might use French coffee presses in Australia, and they might use drip coffee in here, and they might use this kind of coffee here, and it might, whatever the fuck. It's all the same shit. You find a Coca-Cola in every fucking store, no matter where you're from. They play the same fucking music on the radio, no matter where you're at. It is all the same. The only difference is weird stuff, and it mostly applies to people who have residence there, like who are national for the country. He wants his forum to stop being DDoS. That's right. I think I don't want to mention it because it might be a bad idea to say it out loud. But something else happened recently where I'm just like, fuck, man. It's such a stupid thing. Oh, and we got kicked off of the Proton Mail and Proton VPS affiliate shit. For what? Because someone complained? Someone wrote a fucking letter and complained? Grow some fucking balls. And they were a Swiss company. That's what happened with them. You can't trust the fucking Swiss. They're such a shattered and disgusting people. I think I hate the Swiss more than I hate any other European country. It's weird because they like to pretend that they're not in the EU, but they're in every single EU agreement. They have all the downsides of being EU without actually being in the EU. So they can technically claim that they're still being neutral, that they're still an independent country, but they're not. They're barely even a single country. All the cantons have so much. It's weird. You hear all these weird stories about shit happening in Switzerland. And it's usually just because one canton passed something, like the Romansh-speaking canon that nobody lives in, passed something weird, and it makes people think, like, fuck Switzerland. I hate Switzerland. Yeah, my shekels. Because what I like to do is I like to advertise things that I use. And when private internet access got bought out by CyberGhost, I no longer use private internet access because CyberGhost has a bad reputation. And what I tell people to use is Proton VPN now because it works better. But they don't want to be associated with the forum because someone sent them an angry email. But what I also tell people to use is either Proton Mail or Cocklee for a alternative email service. So it really sucks when you advertise something because you use it and you would like to see other people use it, and then they fucking kowtow to a bullshit angry email that doesn't like, what are they going to get put in fucking jail for paying me like what $100 a month tops? Is that what happened? I mean, I don't know Switzerland. All I know about Switzerland is that it is literally illegal at like a federal level to be homophobic. If you're homophobic, there's a quote by someone who was like a federal representative in Switzerland who said something literally to the effect of, homophobia is not an opinion, it's a crime. So, fuck Switzerland. Fuck their gay-ass flag, too. They're bullshit ass, so boring. Fucking square and shit. I don't know yet. I have not found a replacement for them, but fuck them. I even emailed the guy who was my representative from Proton Mail or Proton VPN, and I said, look, if you partner with me, there will be a lot of people who have an interest in this shit, but you are going to get angry emails from people because they don't like the site. Will you be able to put up with angry emails? And he gave a very confident and reassuring reply that his company had the ability to put up with angry emails. And then within like 2 weeks, he comes back saying, we got some feedback from the Proton community, and we can no longer be associated, and we'd really like it if you took off any mention of Proton VPN or Proton Mail from your website. It's like, so much for that, you fucking spineless pussy motherfucker. Yeah, I am. Fuck those people. Iran flag #1. Yeah. Richard Spencer with his Iran flag. Here's a question, chat. Here's a genuine question I have for everyone listening to this. Who the fuck is Partisan Girl? I know that she was on the Ralph Retort, but who is she, and why do I care what she thinks? Because it is presumed that I care what she thinks, and I don't know why. I need someone with knowledge to explain to me this situation type deal, because I don't fucking get it. I'm waiting. Partisan Girl. A psycho. She's a girl. Some Syrian bitch who's popular because she looks nice. She works for RT. Does she really? Some Syrian bitch living in Australia. Big milkers. Cock and ball torture. She has nice lips. Large and endowed. Partisan girl is a pull-tart in Syrian civil war thought. That's how she got started. Okay. Because she also changed her flag to the Iranian one. I don't know. Why is she in Australia? They should send her back. I thought if she's like a Syrian partisan, why is she not in Syria supporting the cause? Why is she not in like I don't know, any other country in the Middle East supporting the Syrian? Why is she in Australia doing this? She supports rebellion against Assad. I thought that was like the opposite of what she supported. I thought she supported Assad. Or is she the one that... Does she support like that U.S.-backed democracy movement? Yeah, for my... I don't have a great understanding of the Middle East, but I'm pretty sure that Syria was just a French mandate or something, wasn't it? How that's why Syria has so much like forced ethnic diversity, is because the French just colonized that area after the First World War or something, and then split it up arbitrarily. So now you have all these people who don't like each other living together under the same government. Why would you support a government like that? She's pro-Assad, so someone's wrong. Why is chat lying to me? Okay. I don't know. I don't want to get angry. I am angry though. I just want to be optimistic, but I find it hard to be optimistic because it's like every year we have to bomb some random fucking country in the Middle East. I'm glad I didn't realize that we hadn't retaliated. I thought we did retaliate. I know that what happened with the Iran thing was really funny. Was they missed everything, right? And then after that, they asked for they like said, "Don't bomb us back. Don't bomb us back. I'm sorry, we fired missiles at you, but they didn't actually hit anything. So therefore, don't bomb us back." Okay. Nick Fuentes. He likes. Okay, can someone explain to me why he is having a crisis with cat boys now? Because I've heard that. Like, I think his thread. Somebody made a thread on him on the forum specifically because something happened with the cat boys, and now there's like a crisis in his fan base because he's apparently a homosexual. Nick lost his anal virginity. He's secretly gay. Neko Shada. He couldn't stay in the closet. It's fucking with his head. I heard he's being weird, but I never followed him to begin with, so I don't have like a baseline for Nick Fuentes' behavior to make an assumption on how he's behaving. Boy pussy is great. Catboy Nyanshalism. He loves traps. Why is everyone who's like a right-leaning person who is ostensibly advocating strict immigration policies and like a pseudo-white nationalism type thing, why are they all like, they all either marry an Asian woman or a Middle Eastern woman, or they're gay, or they're Richard Spencer and they cheat on their wife with a communist? None of those are things associated with like Christian white nationalism. Polarity. Ask ancient Greece. The right is getting gayer. Knickers are gay. The Groypers turned our boy gay. They're addicted to porn. That's a hot take. We got all these coomers. How do we find a non-coomer white man to lead the Groypers to the new government? Ironic anal sex to own the libs. They put chemicals in the water. That's also a good one. You mean grifters? We want accelerationism. I don't know. Here, my thing is with when people talk about like a race war in the United States, all the cumin. Whenever I say cumin, it sounds like the spice the Poo and the Loos use to make their curry. All the cuming and chat. When people talk about like civil war in the U.S., though, I just think like in a best case situation, the U.S. would fragment. Like you're not going to be able to deport all the Mexicans. You just can't do it. There's too many. The U.S. is now too diverse to undo that. You know what I mean? I'm not advocating for it, by the way. I'm just saying, like in a theoretical situation, the amount of actual genocide you would need to accomplish that is just preposterous. You would not be able to do that. The best you could hope for now is like a split where like the northern states become like an Arab republic and the west coast becomes Nuevo Mexico and the northeast becomes I don't know, it just becomes New England. Become an independent New England that has socialism and stuff. And then the Confederacy, the South rises again. All those states become like a anarcho-capitalist type thing. And then I guess Wyoming becomes a kingdom with a hereditary monarchy. For good measure, the Mountain King. Can't spell communism without some cumin. Yeah. I don't know, but the thing is, if the U.S. balkanizes, I don't think there'd be peace, obviously. If the U.S. just split apart state lines and stuff, there wouldn't be, you would no longer have like I mean, that's scary if you think about it. You'd have a situation where countries can go back to war with each other and the U.S. won't just randomly intervene. Russia would NATO would have to be destroyed because are all the new American countries going to join NATO and support that? Who gets the military if the U.S. splits apart? What would happen to the nukes? All the nukes would be owned by the monarchy, the Midwestern monarchy of Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. Those states, the king would have all the nukes because that's where we keep our nukes at. Europe gets the mutt military. Where would we keep the mutts in Europe? Well, probably Italy. Italy seems like the best bet for storing the military. Yeah. I don't know. My optimism with Trump basically died when the government shutdown ended. Because it really felt like he was going strong with the shutdown. And he basically put his foot down and said, I'm not going to restore the government. And for that very long period, people, I think, saw for the first time really how pathetic and weak, not pathetic and weak, but useless the federal government was in their daily life. All the things that we attribute to government, like when you talk about anarcho-capitalism, people will be like, well, who will buy the X? Who will police, who will fund the police? Who will fund the firefighting department? Who will run the jails? Who would pave the roads? And you kind of realize all of those are state services. All of those are paid for by the state taxes. And state taxes are already very low compared to federal taxes. So we pay the federal government way, way more, and we get almost nothing out of it that we see in our daily lives. And I think people were starting to see that when the government was shut down. But then, right as IRS tax season was coming up, coincidentally, Trump backed down on it. Without any reason. He had all this momentum and all this support, and he was just like, hey, you know what? I want to give up. And I think when that happened, it was because someone approached Trump, and someone said to Trump, we need this tax money. We need this tax money. And you're going to sign this bill. You're going to get a deal that's less good than what you want. And you're going to finance the IRS. Because if you don't do that, we're going to make your family name as cursed as Kennedy. And he was just like, oh, okay, I guess I have to. And I really think that happened, because what else could have happened? I can't even imagine. And nothing like that's ever going to happen again. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid are the biggest funding holes. My favorite thing about that, and I might have mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again, because why not? My favorite thing about that was, at some point, way back when, right? Like, people wonder why our healthcare costs so much. Why does it cost the American $300 for a bottle of insulin when it costs the Canadian $30 for a bottle of insulin? Why do they charge $15 for an aspirin or a Tylenol in a hospital? And the answer has to do with Medicare and Medicaid. Because in the 90s, hospitals would charge people a lower rate than they did the government, right? But then in the 90s, we sued Healthcare America because they were charging Medicare way more than they were charging independent people for healthcare. And Healthcare America paid out several $1 billion to Medicare as a result of this government lawsuit. And since then, Healthcare America and all the other hospitals have just been charging everyone the same price, but the prices they charge are like $50 for a plastic tube, $15 for a Tylenol, $2,000 a night in ICU, hundreds of thousands of dollars for chemotherapy. And the reason for that is because the government will always pay out these healthcare expenses no matter what they charge. And even if independent healthcare, if people just wanting to pay out of pocket go bankrupt as a result, it doesn't matter, because they always get paid by the government. So the losses they incur from uninsured people going bankrupt is made up 100-fold by the government reliably paying out for Medicare and Medicaid. So there's no reason to lower their prices. And it's like everything that is broken can be traced back to a government program that tried to make things better. And I try to explain this in people are calling me like a I've been reading this subreddit called A Boring Dystopia just to kill some time the last 2 days. And all those people are super, super hung up about the whole late stage capitalism thing. And they're very depressed and horrifically depressed people who are just so ready to die because they hate their job so much and stuff. And I kind of had an epiphany and about how they think about stuff. And I was thinking, this is very hard to explain. I tried to explain it in my Discord, talking to people casually a couple hours ago, and I failed. I hope to explain this better now. But when I was a teenager, I made game modes for a video game called Blockland. And it was very autistic, and my game modes were very autistic. But because I was like a shitty teenager, when people played my game modes wrong, I would yell at them, and I would ban them manually. And if you've ever played a game called, I want to say Jailbreak for Gary's Mod or for Counter-Strike Source, it's kind of like that, where you have these game modes that have loose rules, and they're enforced by a moderator. They're enforced by like a higher power, ensuring that nobody breaks the rules that are just written and supposed to be understood, right? But at some point, I remember that the creator of the game, Bad Spot, came into my server or posted on a forum or something and said that the kind of game modes that I made were shitty because they relied on a moderator to enforce the rules instead of just having the game be fair fundamentally by making it technically impossible to break the game. because people they would basically cheat by taking advantage of how bad the code was and how the rules were designed to advantage themselves. And if they did that, you'd have to ban them. And his argument was, you should have just designed your game to not be broken to begin with. You should always consider, and if it's not possible to technically, using the code, enforce a rule, the whole system should be reconsidered. You should be looking at it like, what can I do to make this fun and fair without needing oversight? And I kind of feel like that's the branch in thinking, is people who want more government intervention and less capitalism are people who expect not to have a fundamentally fair system, but to have an all-seeing eye which imposes fairness on people, as opposed to people who want a more open market and more competition, and the government stepping in only to break up truly horrific monopolies and infringements of human rights, who want to design a fair system that doesn't have to be monitored so stringently. And I hope that makes sense, because it's a very obtuse and autistic comparison to make, but I don't know how to better explain it. Josh solved government using autism. That's basically it. You need autistic people who write strict rules that are easily understood, in which create an environment of competition that is fundamentally fair. You know what I mean? Lolbert. Oh, that's right, the Dilbert guy. Has the Dilbert guy stolen preemptively my autistocracy? Yeah, I don't know, because the other hand is, we have a really great medical system, and we're literally growing like lambs in artificial wombs now, and I don't. That's in large part due to how fat our medical system is, and I don't want to take that away. I don't want to take that progress away. There has to be some balance for it, but it'll be very hard. It's very hard to fix the system. Imagine telling some doctor in America he's not going to make $150,000 a year instead of $70,000 in order to lower the cost of Medicare. I mean, that's the other thing, is that in Europe it's really hard to find a doctor, because any doctor that wants to make money either goes private or moves to the U.S. and does his practice there. You know, there's a really famous doctor who works in bariatrics, the Doctor Now, who is in like My 600-Pound Life and stuff. He's from Tehran. He's from Iran. And he moved to the U.S. to practice medicine because it makes more money than to do it in a country like Iran. But on the other hand, when I was in Ukraine, I remember I was walking down the street behind two people, and they were both doctors. The guy on the left was like a neurosurgeon, and he was saying that doctors from the U.S. were leaving to go to countries like Ukraine because the medical system there is so deregulated that it's easier to do your practice, because you can do things that you're not allowed to do in the U.S., and people will just pay out of pocket, and you don't have to deal with the government. So I don't know what the fuck that neurologist did, where he's doing brain surgery in the Ukraine because he doesn't want to do it in America. But it was an interesting thing to overhear, because I guess they just assumed that everyone around him didn't know English. The doctor is Jewish as fuck. I don't think so. He sounded not Jewish. Go to Japan and help fill the samurai shortage there. Japan, I don't have any solutions for Japan, because I don't know anything about it, unfortunately. Oh my god, there's so many super chats that I didn't see, because post toes to avoid World War III. Yo, meat boom, I love your stuff. Just moved to Poland, they don't know English. That's bullshit. Everyone in Europe knows English. Probably less so in Polish, but the thing is, in Poland, they don't like foreigners. They'll treat you poorly in Poland if you are a foreigner. I'm sorry you have to deal with humans. This is why we need lolcow streams. The escapism of laughing at special people on the internet helps the black pill go down. That's true. I need to do more of them, but this is the reality. Gino Samuel,